We are live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to NewsLine. It's Thursday, October 10th, 2019. I'm Kim Peterson.
And I'm Chris Jacobs. Kurdish forces say at least 8 people have been killed in a Turkish military operation in northern Syria. Turkey says it was to root out terrorists in the region.
But what Turkey calls terrorists have been America's allies, namely the Syrian Kurds, who helped the U.S. immensely in the fight against ISIS. And terrified civilians are fleeing by the hundreds. Nick Patton-Walsh is on the Turkish-Syria border.
Overnight, the Turkish Defense Ministry said they were launching their ground operation into Syria, and shortly after that, the Syrian Kurds, who they are attacking, said they were managed to repel some of the forces in the town of Tal Abyad behind me here. Frankly, very hard to tell who is where and doing what with any success, given a lot of how the communications here have been cut. That makes it hard also to work out the exact toll on civilians inside much of the Kurdish held areas that are reliant often on Turkish cell communications to get their message out. But clearly there are thousands of Syrian Kurds deeply scared about what comes next, and hundreds certainly already on the move. And if indeed the Turkish government tend to make good on their suggestion they might take an 18-mile deep stretch of all the border, then that is a months-long operation that would encompass all the major Syrian Kurdish population centers. Though, given the international condemnation of this operation, so many nations in the Middle East, in Europe, who would normally have kinder words for Turkey, coming out against this and the potential risk that it poses to the counter-ISIS operation that still continues here, but is definitely taking a step back because of this renewed new conflict. It is interesting to see what Turkey will try to do this day. Did they yesterday lay down the markers of artillery airstrikes and ground troops, now essentially saying we're in, we'll proceed? Do they keep the tempo up, or do they let this sprawl into the weeks and months ahead, hope the world puts their attention somewhere else? 181 targets hit, say the Turkish military, unclear what they were, but certainly the message sent. They intend to move on with this, despite so many calls around the world for it to stop. Nick Patton-Walsh in Akçakale, southern Turkey.
The fugitive who police shot at a Layton mall has died. A Utah U.S. Marshal says 28-year-old Zachary Hall was wanted for aggravated robbery. Hall was suspected of robbing a Salt Lake City Macy's in March. Officers confronted Hall outside the Layton Hills Mall on Tuesday. He escaped to his car, then began ramming into police vehicles, and an officer shot him. Hall was transported to Davis Hospital, where he died from his injuries yesterday. The shooting is being investigated, but no police officers were harmed during the incident.
The Utah Department of Health has confirmed another death from vaping has occurred in Salt Lake County. Public health officials have determined that the individuals vaped THC prior to the incident. The individual was under the age of 30 and died in their home without being hospitalized. There have been 76 recorded instances of vaping-related illnesses in Utah, with several more under investigation. 94% of these cases self-reported THC use. Utah Highway Patrol is investigating a possible drug distribution ring within the state. Earlier this week, troopers seized nearly 130 pounds of meth. The discoveries were made after 2 separate vehicles were pulled over on I-15 near Cedar City. Police say one of the individuals arrested had a firearm inside a pillowcase behind his back seat. The man, 35-year-old Channing Allen, said he was offered $5,000 to transport the meth. Police believe in both cases that the drug's final destination was Utah.
The Bountiful Police Department needs the public's help to catch a fraud suspect. Take a look at these pictures. The man seen in this video is wanted in a theft and credit card fraud case. These pictures from surveillance cameras are from September 17th. The pictures aren't very clear, but police are hoping someone will recognize this man in a black baseball cap, black hoodie, and blue jeans. Anyone with information about the suspect should call Bountiful Police at 801-298-6000 or reach out to their social media. All tips can remain anonymous. Salt Lake TSA officers are cracking down on firearms packed in carry-on baggage. In the past 7 days, officers have discovered 7 guns inside 7 different passengers' carry-on bags. Officers found the weapons during routine luggage screenings at security checkpoints. The TSA Federal Security Director reminds travelers to double-check their carry-on to ensure nothing dangerous is packed. Firearms must be unloaded, locked away, and placed only in checked baggage. The fine for packing a gun in your carry-on starts at a hefty $2,050.
A student-run organization is traveling to Utah high schools to teach Latinos about higher education. Anessa Pennington looked into this program. Anessa, the focus of the program isn't the students?
No, it is not. The information is actually directed at the parents. Many Latino parents have never gone to college, so they don't know how to help their children prepare for higher education. Puente is hoping to change that. Puente, which means bridge in Spanish, is a local nonprofit that teaches Latino parents how to prepare their kids for higher education. Last night, Puente's team of college students met with Latino families at Kearns High School, where they talked about FAFSA, ACT scores, and application essays, all in Spanish, of course. In addition to the workshops at local schools, Puente also matches families up with mentors who work with the students throughout the college application process. Puente hopes that through mentoring and workshops, parents can become resources for their children.
I was súper emocionada, orgullosa.
I was super excited and proud because it's my first daughter that's preparing to go, and I'm learning all the steps and processes with her.
Yo estoy súper emocionada.
Puente was started 1 year ago by Gerardo Camino, who is a BYU student whose parents are Mexican immigrants. Camino's parents didn't know how to help him prepare for higher ed, but with the help of a mentoring program, he was accepted into his dream universities. In addition to the higher ed workshops, Puente also offers mental health workshops. To find events near you, visit mipuente.org. Back to you.
Centro Hispano is providing community assistance to the Latino and neighboring communities that may not have affordable or easy access to general needs and other services. NewsLine reporter Berto Sanchez explains what the nonprofit organization is and how they're helping those in need.
Centro Hispano first opened its doors in 2002 with the sole purpose of providing help and assistance to the Latino community in Utah, a community that, due to language barriers, has a difficult time accessing basic needs.
They're slipping through the cracks because most services are provided in English. We wanted to have this event so that they could come and learn about services in Spanish.
Many people have benefited from Centro Hispano's services and assistance, from children's education to tax services. People like Sergio Palomec and Brenda Hernandez, local Provo residents who are part of the Latino community. We've been benefiting from their services, whether it's information, they tell us where to go if we need something, education for children.
I always do my taxes there. They help the community with their taxes. I've been doing my taxes for so many years, and I've never had a problem with the IRS.
We know that doing your taxes and going in front of the IRS can be difficult, and especially if it's not your first language. So we can do that for you. We do translation of documents, we are a notary service.
Its mission is to have equal access to the information and resources the Hispanic community needs in order to strengthen individuals, families, and communities through education and skill-building activities.
Centro Hispano is a community center. Yes, our focus is the Latino community, but anyone is welcome to come. We want to be that link to other resources.
Reporting for NewsLine in Springville, I'm Berto Sanchez.
President Russell M. Nelson of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will visit 4 countries in 7 days in Southeast Asia next month as part of his global ministry. NewsLine reporter Emma Benson is here to give us more details about his travels. Emma, why is this trip significant?
Yes, President Nelson will visit Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, and Indonesia in November. 2 of these countries have not had a visit from a president of the church in more than 20 years. This trip will bring the total number of countries President and Sister Nelson have visited in the first 22 months of his presidency of the church to 32. President Nelson will travel with Sister Nelson and Elder D. Todd Christofferson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles and his wife. This will be the first visit from a president of the church to Cambodia for 23 years. The last prophet to visit was President Gordon B. Hinckley when he dedicated the land for missionary work in 1996. Cambodian members are thrilled by the announcement.
It's going to be such a testimony to them to see a prophet and actually to really see him face to face and be in a meeting with him. And I think it will strengthen the testimonies of the church.
Lang and her family are some of the 14,725 church members in Cambodia. President Nelson announced an upcoming temple in Cambodia during General Conference last October. He will meet with the saints there on November 19th. President Nelson and Elder Christofferson will speak at member meetings with Latter-day Saints and Friends of the Faith, and meet with government and religious leaders in each country. Back to you.
Thanks, Emma. There's a new way for high school students to retake the ACT.
We'll tell you what the new policy is and how people are reacting. And Instagram has removed a feature that some users feel invades their privacy.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
The recent controversy surrounding protests in Hong Kong has found its way to the NBA.
What about this is political?
A few fans at the preseason game between the Washington Wizards and Guangzhou Long Lions had their sign removed due to its support of the protests in Hong Kong. The fans wore shirts that said Free Hong Kong and held a Google sign that said Google Uyghurs. Security removed the sign as it is the stadium's policy of not allowing items of a political nature. Police shot and killed a man outside a Nebraska Chick-fil-A after he rammed it with his truck. Video recorded by a customer shows this man, who police identify as 48-year-old Joseph Cimino, causing a disturbance. Cimino rammed his car into the building and then came out carrying a stun gun. Police shot Cimino in the parking lot and tried to perform CPR, but Cimino died at the scene.
High school students all across the nation take the ACT in preparation for their college applications, but some students don't do as well as they'd like. Now they'll be able to retake just a section instead of the entire thing. It has many people excited, but critics worry this will give those who can't afford to retake certain sections an advantage over those who can. Students will also be able to take the ACT online at some test centers now and get their score in just 2 days instead of worrying over it for weeks. Instagram has removed a feature that some people think was a little stalkerish. The following tab allows people to see their friends, likes, followers, and comments. Its original goal was to help people discover new content they may like, but it sometimes gives users TMI about their friends' private or embarrassing Instagram activity. The company says it has already started removing the following tab, and it'll be gone by the end of the week.
An inspiring story right out of Provo.
What this Provo woman is doing to fight disease.
Tomorrow will be the big blow, I think.
"60-mile-per-hour winds expected as nor'easter season is upon us. See what's being done to prepare."
Most of the Wasatch Front is still under a hard freeze warning. Coming up, I'll let you know just how long these warnings will last. Next.
Time and time again, when I'm doing street magic, I'll walk up to someone and I can just see that they're against me, right? They don't want to be amazed. They don't want this experience to happen. But then the magic happens. Can we be there? And all of that falls away.
I know that some will say, come on, man. Matters a little bit.
Stunned. I believe in magic.
It's the experience of waking up and seeing things the way you saw them before they became ordinary.
I needed to try.
That's the goal. I'm looking for that experience of wonder.
Never get old.
A Provo woman is anxiously waiting to run the New York City Marathon.
NewsLine's Madeline Reber joins us now. Maddie, this girl is running for more than just herself?
Yeah, Jenny Banley is running for the research on Huntington's disease. Jenny Banley is a runner, but right now she's training out of her comfort zone for her first marathon. And when she's running,
I think about my dad and how badly I wish that he could run with me.
Jenny is running the New York City Marathon for those who have Huntington's disease. Jenny's dad has Huntington's disease. It's a neurodegenerative disease that slowly breaks down nerve cells in the brain. People don't begin to see symptoms until their 30s or 40s. Symptoms like muscle spasms, memory loss, and difficulty thinking. And Jenny noticed small symptoms in her dad a few years ago.
I remember noticing it when I was in high school and Googling, like, what could this be? And stumbling upon Huntington's disease.
A year later, doctors confirmed Jenny's WebMD predictions. The scariest part of Huntington's disease?
It's a genetic disease.
Which means Jenny and her two brothers have a 50-50 chance of having it.
Testing is like a really difficult decision to make. If people aren't in a mental spot to handle that kind of information, it can be really derailing.
And it's expensive. But after meeting with a genetic counselor and a social worker, Jenny decided that she wanted to be tested.
Truthfully, that day is a little bit of a blur.
Jenny tested positive.
Crushed. Like, I just remember feeling like the walls were closing in.
After months of processing, Jenny got an invitation to raise money for the HD Foundation and run the New York City Marathon. Jenny posted this video asking people to donate so she could run. Now, the foundation had a minimum of $3,000 raised.
And I just finished my fundraiser and raised $5,010.
Currently, there's no treatment, but in just a few weeks, Jenny will run for her dad, herself, and nearly 30,000 people living with the gene. Yeah, so Jenny's fundraiser is closed, but you can donate to the Huntington disease research at hdsa.org.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie.
People just put out the pumpkins, and it's already nor'easter season in New England, and folks in a little town called Sandwich are keeping a close eye on a storm headed their way.
But as Bill Shields found out, even though meteorologists say the storm is nothing to sneeze at, people in Sandwich aren't holding their breath.
At the Barnstable Marina, it wasn't the best day for boating, so a lot of boats were idle. But there was no panic from this storm to get the boats on land.
It's always a concern of ours, but I think this one we're going to be okay.
And it's just the beginning.
Yeah, tomorrow will be the big blow, I think.
On the Cape, winds are expected to push 60 miles an hour tomorrow morning with torrential rain. In Sandwich, several downtown ponds were lowered today to prevent flooding in the town center.
Possibly up to 8 inches locally. We have a couple of ponds that we manage where we have dams. So we're going to drop the level of those ponds to hopefully not have any damage from that.
At the Drunken Seal restaurant on the water in Sandwich, the food was hot and the views killer. Diners and even the staff watched this nor'easter develop.
You can't really stay miserable for long here.
Just looking at the view.
Just looking at the view.
Management says just because summer's over doesn't mean it's time to board up yet.
We're trying to stay open until the end of the year.
End of the year?
The end of the year, yes. I mean, you can beat this. This is the best location, the best view.
Meteorologists expect the worst of the storm to hit between now and Friday morning.
But the storm won't completely clear out until Saturday morning.
Well, we've got a nor'easter for the States, but millions in Japan right now are on alert as a powerful typhoon is approaching that area. Hagibis has been a super typhoon for more than 60 hours, which makes it the longest lived super typhoon so far this year. And it's currently right now at a Category 5 hurricane equivalent, and it's expected to hit Japan this weekend. So its current track is showing the storm moving very, very close to the big city of Tokyo, and severe flooding is the issue that's expected to cause the most problems there. We're actually going to take a look at this track right right now, in about 24 hours, this storm will be hitting 230 kilometers per hour. So it is hauling. In about 3 days, the storm will slow down, move out of the way of Japan, but really those after effects are what's going to be hitting there so hard. Here in the States though, the nor'easter's over here, but look at the Midwest right now. Hard freeze warnings in a lot of the Midwest. We just have a very few left along the Wasatch Front, and while this storm is slowly starting to move this way, our temperatures will be getting warmer. So here's a satellite look at that right now. This is mostly cloud cover and some wind that you're seeing. You can see it's just hitting along some spots along the I-15 corridor, but really right now it's up in Wyoming and Colorado, moving out of our way, thankfully, for the weekend. So we're going to be looking at pretty good temperatures this weekend. Right here though now, 37 degrees, not too bad for northern Utah, looking like a pretty clear day, but still chilly out there. You really need to bundle up because our highs today aren't going to get much warmer than what you're seeing right now. Logan at 39, Salt Lake. Oh, and then look at Logan's low today, 18 degrees. So chilly. Now for southern Utah, it's still going to be pretty cool down there for you guys as well. You're going to be only hitting the 60s really for tomorrow, but then in the weekend you'll warm all the way up back into the 80s. So you'll be having a nice weekend. For northern Utah though, we are still going to be cold basically through Saturday, but then by Sunday into Tuesday, it's going to be looking like normal fall again. So feeling pretty good outside.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
That's good.
Need a little hot cocoa this weekend.
Still want to go up into the mountains, but it's getting cold.
Yeah, get that hike in soon for sure.
Well, let's see what Kenzie has coming up in social.
Today is World Mental Health Day, which celebrities are uniting to promote mental health awareness. Up next.
My twin brother Jacob has an autism spectrum disorder. I remember one moment after being at school all day. I remember him getting into the car just bawling and saying, "Mom, I have no friends. Why don't I have any friends?" It broke my heart. That was the moment when I realized that I needed to do something about this. I needed to make a difference in his life. And I knew that if I could help him find a friend, I could help teach other people that including people with differences is the right thing to do. That was the inspiration behind my nonprofit, Score a Friend. Educating people to include people with differences is so important because when Jacob's included, he feels like he can succeed in life and he feels like he actually has a purpose.
Today is World Mental Health Awareness Day.
Kenzie McGuire is here to tell us how people are coming together to raise awareness on social media.
Today, people all around the world want you to know it's okay to not be okay. Mental Health Awareness Day is an international day for global mental health education and advocacy against social stigma. It was first celebrated in 1992. The World Federation for Mental Health chose suicide prevention as the main focus for this year's event. The day provides an opportunity to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. People are taking advantage of social media's ability to connect people around the world by sharing their stories. They hope doing so will help others realize that they are not alone. Now, the Rethink Mental Health Wellness posted a statistic saying that suicide causes 800,000 deaths every year, and there is always a point when that suicide could have been prevented. In order to try to increase that prevention number, the Suicide Prevention Advice created the WAIT strategy. They want us to watch for signs of distress, ask people if they're having suicidal thoughts, let them know that this time will pass, and talk to others about potentially seeking medical help. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex posted that our two favorite gingers have made a lighthearted video encouraging people to be open about talking about their mental health problems. And Rashima Sanjani wants us to know that sometimes having those brave and uncomfortable conversations are what are going to help us the most. So today, let's take advantage of this opportunity to look out for others, take time to take care of ourselves, and find ways to show support to those who are struggling. We'll be right back.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe! Good.
So God go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls in the Hall of Fame. Be a champion on the walls in the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Those old Lego sets collecting dust in your closet could end up making some kids really happy. Lego announced a pilot program called Lego Replay that encourages people to donate their used Lego bricks. To participate, just take any loose Lego bricks, sets, or accessories that you no longer want, put them in a cardboard box, and visit lego.com/replay to print out a free UPS shipping label. The package will be sent to the Give Back Box facility where your toy donation will be sorted, inspected, and cleaned. The Legos will then be sent to classrooms across the country or to Boys and Girls Clubs for their after-school programs.
I feel like half of everyone has their Legos already in a cardboard box.
Right.
So it's like half the job's already done.
It's true, and they're such a timeless toy.
Yeah.
So
I was actually more of a Bionicle guy myself, like growing up, like build them, and
Yes.
they're like the little fighter guys.
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us today for Newsline.
You can visit our website to hear more about our stories and check out what else is going on.
Have a great day.